My name's Ema Skye. I'm a scientific investigator. My first trial without a fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. The number the chief of police gave us was 584-2189. The detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. But wait! Detective Goodman is our victim! He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. The victim's name is written right on top of the report. Gah! Just give me one more day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. If it is the last thing I do. Let me offer you a word of advice. A defense attorney should never believe in their client. Hello and welcome back. This is Queen 3210, and after an exciting first day trial, seems we have more questions than answers here. For starters, there was a second murder that occurred at the exact same time as the one we are investigating. Furthermore, the victim happens to be the same person. How is that possible? On top of that, we are no closer to figuring out who is actually the real killer. We know Skye has confessed, but obviously there's going to be some kind of twist on that. My suggestion is she's covering for someone, but who would she be covering for someone? Or who would she be covering for, rather? And my suspicion is on Ema. I don't have evidence to suggest that. That's just my gut feeling. So, let's begin the investigation and see if we can't get any closer to the truth. February 23rd, 2:15 p.m., Wright & Co. Law Offices. Mr. Wright? So, what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room. What's this and the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we're gonna find out. Or try to, at least. All right, let's do it. Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not so sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Eh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. February 23rd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? Okay, so, new theory. He was murdered at the evidence room, and then it was set up that he was murdered here. Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. That oil drum. Was it empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. My sister erasing evidence at a crime scene? Never! Even though she says they don't get along, Ema really likes her sister. That's That's not it at all. It's just, we're both professionals at what we do. And I trust her. Also, question, how is she reading Wright's mind? Is he really that predictable? Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that whale drum washed it all away. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Eh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that is luminal testing fluid. Ah! Because there's no bleach in that water, if there were bloody footprints, they should come up if we spray that bottle. Luminal? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. I feel like we've just been conned. We're testing bloodstains with this stuff and not drinking it. Here, look. I'll lend you these glasses. Eh? You had an extra pair of those things? Oh. To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this. See? Press the enter button to spray it on. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains. They're okay. Oh, there we go. I can see your eyes shining behind those glasses. So, this is a bloodstain? It's so... Ugh. Emma, you're shaking. It's just... This is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course. What's odd about this, scientifically? The amount of blood. Perpetrator and the detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood? I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans where we find the bloodstain. Got it? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, aren't I? Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too. I saved up all my allowance to buy it. So wait a minute. They actually sold it to a minor? Luminal testing fluid received from one very proud-looking Ema Skye. We can't be sure that the police will reveal all of their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah. Feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Ha! I wondered how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Starr! You only trust your own eyes, hmm? Too bad for you. This day-old deli box is on the house. Ew. Sorry, it's just that kind of lead and doesn't really get my mouth watering. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Starr, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry, you lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Uh-oh. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Skye stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. Unless it was a corpse that she was stabbing. At which point, she's only guilty of desecration of a corpse. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years now. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. And that's why she's called the cough-up queen. Coughed it up. They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I dragged the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long, they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go or fired? I thought that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case. The SL9 incident. Oh God, it's another one of these stupid things? Really? SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean. Oops, wrong button. What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Good man. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? And the fact that he died with those clues is rather suspicious. That knife was evidence from that case. It was the murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet. I have a feeling yeah, so basically she was pushing to keep investigating and she was basically told, fuck off. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Let's find out, shall we? Nope. February 23rd, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. Looks like Miss Skye is in questioning. Well, I hope the detectives aren't yelling at her. How did you kill him in 2 places at the same time? Can you imagine? How's she supposed to answer that? Wait a second. Didn't Mr. Gant say they'd arrested a suspect in the police department murder? Let's come back later. February 23rd, Police Station, Criminal Affairs. Wow, everyone looks deadly serious here. Well, there was a vicious murder of a detective down at the police department. Yeah, but the same detective was also killed at the same time in the prosecutor's lot. Makes my head hurt. Well, first things first. Let's go check out the police department crime scene. Yes, you sound dead set on investigating. But don't mess up, or we could wind up dead. I doubt anyone wants more mysteries or dead bodies around here lately. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to help us much either. Okay. February 23rd, police department entrance. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast, they're blurring. Suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here after all. So, the evidence room. The scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk. Here it is! She's like a kid at an amusement park. Ooh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. Sweet. I guess we go to the guard station? This is where Jake is. I can sort of tell. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime? It sure seems that way. Oh. What's wrong? It's the cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight. If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where is the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Yep. So do I. Maybe we try the crime photo. If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. So you went straight to the scene of the crime. I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I looked at this photo. That's when I took this photo. Yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. 5 minutes weren't the problem. Miss Starr, you lying was the problem. Listen, little girl, I've had my testimony disregarded before, and I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time. Ooh, maybe now we can talk about it. Yeah, we got it. That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. Oh, it looks like Jake was also on the case. So they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Ooh. So if it turns out that that guy was actually innocent, welp. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. Doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence, not one shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence. Oh. So they couldn't nail him to the wall, so they made something up so that they could nail him to the wall. Damn. But what? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen. Others found themselves out of a job. Ooh, so Jake was demoted. Angel was fired. And you were one of those? But if Goodman was in charge, what happened to him? Why was he still a detective? Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be? Yes, it could. Exactly, Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. Okay, so tell me a little bit about him. Was he one of your boyfriends? As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then, it was over. And he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9? There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait! Those lunches you sell. There is only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends. Boyfriends that can help me investigate. Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Rookie. What? Seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes. Then you should take this. A Salisbury steak lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Steak lunch received from Miss Star. Miss Star? Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's just so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. Well, I guess I'm back. I'm heading off to the guard station. February 23rd, Police Department entrance. This place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Please! Huh? Wasn't that? One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe? Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. Looking for lunch? What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. Aww, I feel so bad. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence. The criminal? You mean? You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? And the perpetrator. Do you have a suspect? Well, there is a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. It's the biggest scandal that hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking ain't gonna fill my belly. And goodbye. But wait, don't leave. If you want to know more, head on down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Oh, please, please, please don't tell me it's fucking Larry. Later. He ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. First things first, let's go talk to Jake. Oh. I guess let's not go talk to Jake. February 23rd, Detention Center, Visitors Room.
Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess they did. Best not to go too far down that road just yet. Things will just get confusing. Ow!
Oh, what was that?
Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me? A perpetrator? I'd say I was the one perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say. Aw, Smeekins. Hi. Greetings, sir.
Aw, it's Meekins. Aw. Wait, I know who you are.
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir.
Officer Meekins. So you're a guard here at the detention center?
No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir.
Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report?
No, sir, how should I say this, sir? Wait, he isn't. Is he? Yep, Phoenix has just caught up to my line of thought. You, Officer Meekins, you didn't, did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting for duty, sir.
What? What?
Now this is an unexpected turn of events. Okay, let's get to talking. Sir, I am patrolman with General Affairs, sir. Sir! Ow! I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. Guard station in front of the room is empty, sir.
So normally there's a guard at the evidence room.
That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Ooh, wait, hold up. I wonder if Jake Marshall's the one who did it, and he's framed poor Meekins. Now, the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. Suspicious person? A suspicious person? Meow! What the heck is this guy doing?
So what happened then?
After that, sir, everything went right. I saw red. I blacked out. And when it came to, I was here in the detention center.
How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand?
Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A bandage on his hand? Just like Miss Skye. Yeah, there we go.
You had another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office.
First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir,
Don't you think you should just confess?
But sir, but there was nothing I could do. Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were... Hall? Then, when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared.
What?
Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hands, sir. Oh, the shock. Oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared?
That's some story.
Okay, so let's talk about the victim then. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Look at that face. I don't think he did it. Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as a perpetrator or a victim, sir, then label me a victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive and well at that. Yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger, or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So you didn't know him? Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives.
So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him?
Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone around here is more confused than I am. Okay.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so what happens if I show him Goodman's ID?
Do you think you could take a look at this?
Hey! That's it, sir! That's it! That's it!
Oh, that's what?
My head was a blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember. I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct! That card! That card was the cause of it all.
This ID card?
Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing. Can you, fucking stop talking in the voice box thing? I'd better pry into this one a little deeper. Can you tell me what it was you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card.
Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far.
That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me.
What?
Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him? But I thought you were afraid of knives. Do unto others before they do unto you. My own father's words, sir.
Well, what happened then?
Well, my eyes, sir. Everything went white. When I awoke, I was here. Right.
So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you?
What do you mean, Emma?
Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman. And the victim whom he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim.
Ah, so doppelganger.
And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died.
That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines.
Huh? But you still ended up in here?
They told me that it had to have been him, sir. On that day, at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but videotape is quite clear.
Ha! Videotape?
From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out. It's there. It's me. It's on the tape.
And you waited until now to tell us this?
I'm sorry, really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it.
No, thanks. I have my own. Well, guess we'd better go check out the scene of the crime. Hey, Mr. Wright, look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives' desk. It's Police Chief Gant.
And you're sure this is all, hmm? You know what it means if there's anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under a seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away, deal? Yes, sir. I will scour the place again, sir. The Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered. Aha! Righto, my boy! How you been? Swim much? Ho-ho! Chief Gant, reporting for duty, sir.
Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright?
Is Edgeworth gonna be okay? Oh, Worthy! Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him.
Sounds like an inquisition.
Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. I mean, the incident on Gourd Lake. It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defense's seat, now does it? And you got something else found guilty in that case, right, righto? Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. But wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of a turmoil, you might say. Yeah, their one lead prosecutor is arrested for a 18-year-old crime, or a 15-year-old crime, rather. Or, yeah, no, 15 years. That's right. And then their second best was not only on trial for the murder, but now he's basically fucked up another one. So yeah, small wonder he's being scolded. Why? They do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy.
What?
It's downright odd, I tell ya. The detective getting killed on their turf, too, I mean. There being the prosecutors, I assume.
Scientifically speaking, it's impossible.
Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Now, righto. I can't give away all of our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, so I can't really talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the Chief of Detectives' trap shut.
He was the one you were picking on earlier.
Huh? Oh, you saw that. Whoops. Wonder what it was that he wanted the Chief of Detectives to do.
Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him.
So obviously you're here to talk. I was wondering, could you take a look at this? Oh, sorry, righto. I'm through with that stuff. Through, I say. Go find that guy who can't seem to sit still out there, the busy one.
The guy who can't sit still? Does he mean Detective Gumshoe?
Either him or the dancing blue badger. Okay, I don't think there's anything really I can discuss.
A few moments later.
Ooh, sorry you had to see that.
What exactly did the Chief of Police want you to do?
Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can.
So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still there?
Of course not. Well, except for this.
What? You kept something?
Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete.
A lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something?
Date on it says February 21st. Better make a note of it. Which is the same as the note that was found on his body. Goodman's lost item report added to the court record. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Okay, so there's a hint there. Now I go back, I guess. Ah! Never mind. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Raito asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Long pause. Now, Raito. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate it after all. Raito, please, do I look like a selfish man? Eh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out.
It just goes to show you never know until you ask.
Yeah, but that pregnant pause worries me. And for you, here, you can borrow this.
Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it?
That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it.
Yes, sir, it's an honor.
You just run along now and do your best. Later, folks.
Looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID.
You seem happy.
Yes, sir. Because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir.
I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Now we are here. The evidence room is beyond that door.
And we have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in.
It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see?
What is that security guard thinking?
Howdy, partners. Well, well, what's made my bambina's skies so gray? Ah, it's the suspect himself. Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him? What's that? Why does it have to... What's that? Why does it have to be him, look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon.
We're here to investigate the crime scene.
Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts.
Yeehaw?
Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. Crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. You're busy then? Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. But what happens if I give you lunch? That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas.
So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas?
Nah, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby?
Yeah, Miss Starr.
What's this?
What's wrong?
A filet steak lunch. I see. I see.
I don't see. I wonder what it means.
Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. All right, Bambina. You win. Ask Finally, seems like
he's willing to talk. Woohoo! So let's talk to him first, and then we'll enter the evidence room. Let's talk about the guard station. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right?
You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy. Keep getting his name wrong, calling him Meekly. He told us everything. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. Since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, might not look like it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? Actually, it looks very much like it.
So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place?
Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy.
Note, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy.
There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take the two machines much. Kind of like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know?
Okay, so let's talk about Marshall now. Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago.
It was always my dream to be a raw-eyed wrangler on the scene of a crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie spire.
You're still investigating the SL9 incident, though, with Miss Starr, aren't you?
That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. Can't let it go. That's all there is to it.
What kind of case was it, anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened.
There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyhow, that case is officially dead as of 2 years ago.
2 days ago? The day of our case?
That's right. The evidence transfers. Edgeworth was talking about the transfers too.
Okay, so let's talk about the security system first.
I know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do.
Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen.
Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steak. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras. Those are the ones Officer Meekin mentioned. If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased after every few hours.
And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes?
I reckon they might be. You're the security guard and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. Thus, the card reader by the door. The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. So this is the ID card record.
Hey, I've seen that somewhere before.
Sorry, Bambina. Can't show you more than that.
Huh?
I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet.
Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before.
Maybe there's some way I can prove that the record is tied to the stabbing. That's a good question, but let's talk about transferal first and then we'll get to it. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about? We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here until the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see? So what happens to the evidence after 2 years? goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February.
I see now.
Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated. And that happened to SL9 2 days ago. Okay, so let us see if we can change his mind, shall we? Sheriffs back in the Wild West didn't place much faith in evidence. About the only thing they trusted was their shooting hands.
This is neither Wild nor West here.
Aha! But that and this are 2 different things entirely.
I guess so? Huh? I'm lost.
Looks like we need some evidence to get anywhere with this guy. What about the ID card then?
See this? This is the victim's ID card.
Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot? The number on this is 85842189.
Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again?
I'm more interested in the 777777.
Look, the 4th number. It's a perfect match.
It was used at 514, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. Yeah, and what's more, the number that was right before it and the number that was right after it are the exact same.
So, when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room.
But wait, what did Officer Meekin say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card. So you asked the Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. If he had his ID card, then why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? All right, compadre. You win. Guess I could give you this ID card record. The ID card record added to the court record. Words. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Okay, so we'll do that. But first things first. Let's check out that evidence room. February 23rd, evidence room, Sector 3. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here.
So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard.
Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue.
Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me.
Eek! Whoa! The fuck?
So sorry, I thought you were a ghost.
I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So is it true? What I heard? Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asks me, sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give him $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourselves out. Yeah, it's true. So, Chief of Police Gant will loan anyone $50? Even me?
Oh, so that's what you were talking about.
Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today?
Boss for a day?
But guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. Evidence room floor plans. Nice.
So, Detective Gumshoe, you're boss for the day.
That's right. It's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department.
But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings?
Good question. They're using yesterday's finding to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm gonna take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Of course. I am a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal.
Only you can open? With the ID card. Okay, so let's talk about Edgeworth first, and then we'll move on to the evidence lockers.
I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth no matter what happens.
So, Mr. Edgeworth is now with the inquiry committee, right?
They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course.
Oh, so he was involved too. Right, because he was responsible for their dismissal. That makes sense, actually.
That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about that case.
So let's talk about evidence lockers right now.
This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every lock is fixed so that only one detective can open it.
Using their ID cards.
Well, that's the thing, pal. All ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering a voice already.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand.
Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprints.
Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own.
Funny, they look like normal lockers.
These are the latest models. There's a trick to the handles, see?
The handles?
On the other side of the handle is a sensor. And if the wrong person touches it, zap! You get a shock. If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force who don't know about the fingerprint locks.
Evidence lockers added to the court record. Interesting. Okay, so let's see if we can get you to talk more about the SL9 thing.
Detective Goodman's note and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone.
Because of the SL9 connection?
That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared.
But why would evidence from that case turn up now?
Guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case.
Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing.
I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time in a murder. Whoa!
Whoa,
what is it? That second number.
It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe?
Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
The second number on this list. It belongs to Mr. Edgeworth.
What? What? ID card record updated in the court record. Oh, interesting. Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? That's a good question. We should probably go ask him.
Allow me to say one thing speaking as a detective. If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing. None.
That's fine.
You bet it's fine, pal.
Okay, so much for that. I guess we're done here. So let's examine, shall we? Oh, there's a bloody handprint. But what's this? Blood? It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright, what if there are other blood stains left in this room? I'm thinking the same thing, Emma. We should use her testing kit to figure it out. Okay, moving on. I'm literally just spraying everything at this point. It's amazing I haven't run out. Ah, there we go. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it before. So yes, this cinches it. This was the original crime scene. How they managed to get to the police station with the body so fast? It's anyone's guess. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, Detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien. I don't know why I expected much from you, Gumshoe. This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Look, this one's open, and the red indicator light above it, the door is lit. That lock is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprints. Detective Goodman's locker. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe, maybe? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know. You mean SL9? Does it have a tag on it? Yes, it does. Rubber gloves added to the court record. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these little pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case. The case? The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces there? Another piece of SL9 evidence. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever was broke. You want to try putting it back together? Ha! Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give it up. That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Oh, good. I get to do a puzzle. Except there's still a piece missing. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too in the 2 minutes myself. Problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? I mean, it's likely. I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, doesn't look like the most stable kind of jaw. I kind of understand how it got broken. Jar pieced back together from fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. Okay, let's see what the paint's about. What is Hassan paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression. True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger? Well, you might say this is my studio. Here? In the evidence room? Why though? I think that's about everything we can do here.
5 minutes later.
So let's see if we can talk to Gumshoe a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Now that was a bloody violent mess. Violent? So it was a murder. A serial killing. A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Edgeworth built this case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight. And it started a rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence? It was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So, that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Is there anything else we can talk about?
A few moments later.
There's something sticking out of here. Looks like a shirt. I guess it must be evidence for some case. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe put it there. There you go again, pal, making me out to look like some kind of slob. I know I'm not responsible for evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was opened recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of shit stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves evidence hanging out a lot too. Bet he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat either. If you're gonna talk about someone behind their back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. Oh, that's what I was missing. I knew it. This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, Detective? This locker. It's mine. It's yours? Please. You have to help me. When they come to take me away, promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll try to down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. Says the police. What? But you're a detective.
1 minute later.
Oh! That's what I was missing. I was aiming at the cloth. My bad. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey! That's some pretty amazing stuff you got here, pal. What? What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief. Where did you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm gonna give them my report for today. On a menu. I mean, hey man, you do you. It might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about here. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Ooh, now we can go talk to Edgeworth, I guess. February 23rd, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. What the fuck are you doing here? Ah, guests. My apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bringing him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. And by the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. But... oh, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they've decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes. Apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again. I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Okay, let's talk about tomorrow's trial. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police, Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you? Why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Okay, now for the big question. Why is your ID on this evidence log? Oh, right, I'd better check this now. As I was saying, what's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that is true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please do not look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. The Chief of Police? Ooh. Okay, screw Marshall. I think Gant's had something to do with this shit. He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already on file. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I cannot say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Now I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make a note of it. Unrelated evidence. Screwdriver added to the court record. Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case.
Eventually.
Maybe the switch knife? I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on. The SL9 incident. And some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth. Why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. Nice. Hooray! The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago then, too. So, the theory widens. Bet you that this is the case that got him promoted to chief of police instead of the deputy. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminal testing fluid. Well then, you might have a use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints? It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I've no say in today's investigation, so do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really no need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Fingerprint set and fingerprint file received. Ooh, does this mean that we can go test the fingerprints on the lockers? Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Yep, that's exactly where we're going. February 23rd, evidence room, sector 3. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right. Let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. It's the fucking index finger. Come on now. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done.
Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eye.
First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around.
Huh? How do you do that?
With the enter button, see?
Ah, looks like that did the trick.
The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess.
Oh, how do I do that?
With the E button. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See?
Wow, that looks like fun. Might take some getting used to, though.
It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra.
Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. Guess I'd better give it a try.
Aha! You did it! You found one!
But this looks nothing like a fingerprint.
Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't.
What does it mean?
I think it means we're out of luck.
Out of luck?
The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves.
Don't tell me you've been wasting our time here.
Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints?
Other prints?
Looking at the locker door again closely? Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print.
Fingerprints outside the blood. Like this bit right here? Ah, nothing right there.
Yay! A print so clear it's dazzling.
Dazzling?
Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away.
So we're not done yet. This is quite a process.
Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right?
Guess she's right.
Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth and point out the person you think left these prints.
Huh? How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to know who it was?
I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprint are we most likely to find on this evidence locker?
Gumshoes.
Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright?
You gave me this so what look. I guess that's probably because I was thinking so what.
Okay, so we came out with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright.
Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. And check it out we shall.
A few moments later.
This is where we got a luminal fluid reaction, right?
Right! There was a handprint here. Okay, wanna try using this?
There go her eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints.
That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first.
What?
The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in the area will have been wiped away, too.
Oh. Right. So that means no prints.
Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high?
Don't ask me.
Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away.
Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand?
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna take a guess. Nope. Okay, fair. Okay, let's try Jake Marshall. Oh! Got it! Hey, these fingerprints, they...
Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know?
It's Officer Marshall.
Huh? Officer Jake Marshall?
Marshall's fingerprints added to the court record.
That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime.
Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminal reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh.
So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain.
But why would Officer Marshall?
Looks like our investigation's finally turning up some results. Guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence.
I don't believe it.
Well, believe it, because to be continued, that's where we're leaving it off. Well, after all of that, we have discovered that Jake Marshall has another hand in it. We've learned a little bit more about the SL9 case, that it revolved around a serial killer, that manufactured evidence was used. Not by Edgeworth, but he was involved. And that shortly after the case was solved, people started either losing their jobs in the case of Angel Starr or being demoted in the case of Jake Marshall. Which leads me to believe that Jake was potentially responsible for the murder of Goodman, but at the same time, that makes very little sense. Or, well, it makes a lot of sense, but I don't think he was working alone. But all of these suspicions, they will have to be looked into another time. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like or subscribe. If not, leave a comment below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until the next time, guys. Ciao.